Everybody, it's Cayley. I am back with another tips and tricks video. I feel like I should turn this into a series because we've done quite a few now and you guys really seem to enjoy them, but it is tips on how to take your business to the next level. Things that I have personally done in my own business that helped launch me into success and growth in sales. I have done other videos about this before, and so if you'd like to see some of those other tips that I've mentioned after this video, I will link them above. So the first tip to take your reselling business to the next level is to start treating it like a business. If I asked you, do you treat reselling like a hobby or a business? And you really thought about it, what would you say? Because a hobby is something that you do when you have free time and when you can get to it, and you get as much done as your free time allows. And you make a little bit of extra money that is somewhat supplemental and not exactly necessary to get your bills paid. But a business is something that you set aside time for. You have a schedule every week. You know what your goals are and financially the sales that you want to meet. So are you treating it like a hobby or a business? Some tough love I had to give myself when it came to transitioning from treating it like a hobby and a side hustle to an actual business was I had to start answering my customers in a more timely manner. Businesses do customer service every single day. They don't wait until they have time every couple of days. And if you want to capture a sale, you have to answer your customers pretty much as soon as they ask the question, if not within a 24-hour period. And that is what we try to do. Some days are harder than others, and I'm gonna be the first to admit that in my business, I really struggle with that, but it's something I'm currently working on and having success with and capturing more of those sales from people that have asked me questions. Sometimes even just saying to your customer, I can't get to the item right now, but I will be able to when I get back to my office at the end of the day. And sometimes just responding quickly, even if you don't have the answer yet, is enough to satisfy your customer until you can get to it. Another thing that we do in a business versus a hobby is we really research how to improve our business. Meaning, are you researching what brands are selling every week? Are you looking at ways to be more efficient? Are you looking at the way the reselling market is going so that you can understand it? Are you researching changes in rules of the different platforms? If you're not, you're treating it more like a hobby versus a business. Do you know your actual processes and each step in the process? In every successful major business, they have every step of every process written down. There is a process for X, Y, and Z, and sometimes within those processes, there's other processes. But it's all written down so that it can be understood by a new hire. If you don't have your processes written down and completely understand all the steps, I would encourage you to do so because I bet you would start seeing some steps that you can eliminate and save yourself time to get more listings up. And lastly, do you respect your business enough to give it the time it deserves to grow and be successful? Successful businesses don't happen by just taking extra time whenever we have it. They do require scheduling and consistent activity. So if you want to treat it like a business, then you've got to start giving it the time that it deserves. Now, some people are okay with this being a hobby or an extra side hustle that you just do when you have time. And for those people, keep doing what you're doing and whatever works for you. But for those of you that want to launch into the next level and turn it into a successful business that pays your bills, these are the kind of things you have to think about and you have to force yourself to do in order to grow quickly. Tip number 2 is don't avoid small sales, but make sure that they're supplemental. So what I mean by supplemental is that they are basically extra padding and they're not the majority of your inventory. When I think of small sales, at least for me and my numbers, I think of $10, $15, $20 sales. For some of you, that might be more or less, whatever you're comfortable with in your business model. But for me, I consider that a small sale because my average sale price is usually between $30 and $40. So I would say about 80% of my inventory is higher than that, and then 20% of it is smaller sale items. Now, I'm not saying at all to get rid of your small profit items. In fact, don't get rid of them because again, they're extra padding that really help to boost your sales and they do add up. However, just be careful as you start to grow your business if you're capable of sourcing higher quality items that you do. It will take somebody with a goal of $5,000 a month, but only list $10 items a lot longer to reach that goal than somebody who has an average sale price of $30. And if you're constantly listing small profit items, you are going to get burnt out pretty quickly because it's going to take more work to get to the goals that you need. And you're also going to have to spend more time sourcing. So if you want to make 30 bucks, you could sell 3 $10 items or 1 $30 item. Either way, you're getting the same amount of money. However, one takes a lot more work than the other. So as you start to level up your business, really look for, again, if it's possible in your area. I know some areas it's really hard to find high profit items. That's why I travel to another city. But if it's possible in your area, focus on picking up majority of higher quality items. I know that sounds like such a, well, duh, Cayley, like we're all trying to do that. But it took me a very long time to learn that I needed to pass on some of the smaller items so that I could get to more thrift stores to find higher profit items. And there had to be a cutoff as to my lowest sale price. And so I usually reserve the bins as the only place that I go to find lower profit items. And that is because I am picking them up for $1 or less. And majority of the time, I'm actually going to retail thrift stores, finding higher profit items while paying a little more, but finding way higher profitable items. And then about 1 day a week, we will go to the bins. And I know that sounds very elementary and something that everybody's trying to do, but it does come to a point where you have to really put your foot down with yourself and say, I'm not going to pick up these brands anymore because I understand that it will take me way more time to list a multitude of these items versus if I would spend more time sourcing and looking for higher profitable items. At least for me, that is a conversation that I had to have with myself. And once I forced myself to do that, I was able to get to more places, and I realized that I was able to find more items with a higher average selling price, which therefore in turn also reduced my workload. And you guys know me, I really love the high sell-through rate model. And typically the brands and styles that do have an extremely high sell-through rate are brands that sell for more than $20. Again, nothing wrong with $20 or less. Just try and really work towards making it supplemental and not the majority of your inventory. And last tip, tip number 3 that I have for you is that data is so powerful. Data, sales reports, and inventory reports, and all information that these platforms give you, and also your own bookkeeping, is really the only guaranteed way to make sales and to know if you're doing it right or not. And so if you're not currently diving deep into data, checking the sell-through rate of items, seeing if your sales improved month to month, and asking yourself, am I actually making a profit on the item versus what I'm paying for it? Then you really need to dive deep into your numbers and unfortunately kind of become a nerd when it comes to your data. I know numbers aren't for everyone, but there is something to be said for having your thumb on things and knowing exactly where you're at. If you want to know if an item is going to sell within 3 months, you can do that by looking at data, guaranteed. So if you're not pulling your sales reports every month or diving into some of those reports that the platforms are giving you, I highly encourage you to. Poshmark actually just released, I think it's called a listing insight or a sales insight or closet insight, some kind of insight, but I looked at it today and it has a lot of really good information that they were not putting together for us before. And so if you're somebody who is on Poshmark, there is the new, I believe it's called Closet Insights now, to help you really dig deep into those numbers. And eBay has pretty much always had those sales data, but they've really come out with some nice reports lately. There's actually one that actually is a listing quality report, and it tells you what to do if your items aren't selling. It tells you why and how to fix it. So if you're not already, get on there and dive deep into these platforms, because you could learn a lot about your business and how to do what would work for you. Alright guys, so that's it for my tips today. Hope that you guys enjoyed watching. I hope that these tips help to bring your business to the next level. If you have any questions, you can drop them down below. These are all things that I wish somebody would have told me when I was in the beginning parts of reselling. I'd like to save you the trouble so that you don't take years to do it like I did. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below as well as the notification bell. If you do that, YouTube will notify you. You'll get push notifications on your phone whenever I make new content and new videos go live. I do more than just tips videos. We also do hauls and what solds. So if you'd like to see that, don't forget to hit those 2 buttons down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.